The probate court gets involved and a probate judge gets involved when a person dies and all their assets are not inside of a revocable trust. In other words, any assets that pass underneath your last will and testament must pass through a probate proceeding after you die before they pass to your heirs. And if I could just say essentially what is probate, it's the concept of connecting the chain of title to an asset. For example, let's say you have a car, it's in your name, and you die. And you have a will that says, I want the car to go to Susie. Well, Susie can't just go down and show the will and say, hey, I'm supposed to get this car. The Department of Motor Vehicles isn't going to follow that will. They're going to say, go to a probate court and get a probate judge to stamp it, come back and show us that stamp, and then we'll transfer you the car. And so that's what the probate process begins at that point, where somebody's trying to get title to the assets of a loved one. Then the probate court says, well, not so fast. We're not going to stamp it till we're sure that all of your taxes have been paid. So you have to go through a process of getting clearance from the IRS and maybe the Arizona Department of Revenue, make sure all taxes are paid. And then the probate court saying, now we also want to make sure all your creditors are paid. So just to be sure, go out and publish in a newspaper the fact that your father has passed away and give everybody a month or two opportunity to come forward and present claims against the estate. So you have this creditor period you have to pass through. So this is all part of the probate process. IRS has been paid, we're sure all the creditors have been satisfied. Now we want to make sure there's no dispute over the will, so anybody that has a dispute, they can come in and say, we don't think the will's valid because of this or that. And so all this takes time, and all this takes attorney's fees, and people have a distaste for probate. So it's something they try to avoid at all costs. And the simple way to avoid it is having a revocable living trust. There again, back to estate planning. If you do a little planning up front, there's absolutely no reason that assets should pass under probate. If you pass your assets under a revocable trust, you don't need a probate judge involved. Your successor trustee's involved. Your successor trustee can pass the assets and transfer the car to Susie and give the house to Johnny, and they can take care of these titles. But in a nutshell, that's what probate is. And then kind of the flip side of that is what we call trust administration. If people die and they have a trust instead of a will, they avoid probate, but they still need an attorney's involvement to make sure the house gets deeded out where it's supposed to go and the car gets taken care of. And we still have to make sure taxes are paid. We have to make sure creditors are paid. We still have to do all these steps, but we can do it without a probate judge.